ones. Yeah, disappointing weekend. I don't know, avoid things. I face them head on. So I thought for the first set and a half against Florida, we played really good volleyball. We were fighting, and then we've talked about it as a team. It just felt like the air got let out of a balloon, and I think for the rest of the weekend too. So we got some soul searching to do, but that's part of sports. As you get into the middle of a season, and blips happen, and you got to make sure that they're just a blip. So we'll be looking to bounce back for Tennessee, and looking forward to the challenges that are coming ahead. Tennessee's a really good volleyball team, and it'll be a good challenge being on the road against them.
Any questions for Coach? We'll start in the back on TV row, the middle to Tyler.
Yeah, Coach, what would you say kind of the main, or I guess, difference in the play and the way the matches have been? What's the difference been over this weekend and during the winning streak?
Yeah, it's one of the things we were talking about as a staff today. Just let our staff we talked first instincts that came up yesterday right after the match, and then talked about it for about an hour. I think it's going back to the key things that make us us. I think the out-of-system game, we were losing that both on the block side and on the offensive side. So I think that's one of the things that we talk about, trying to, master that battle as much as we possibly can. I think serving-wise, we're where we need to be a little bit passing-wise, and then just attacking space, just as an offensive team. Thought we got away from that a little bit. So, and then the other one is just a sense of urgency of we're going to win this point regardless. If it's not, we're not on the best out-of-system day. We're going to find a way to get after the ball on defense and make sure that we get it up in the air. So I'll be looking at it a little bit more, I think, here as kind of the day goes on. And we gave the girls in midway point in the season, and we play on Sunday, so a couple days off right now. So it's a little bit of a bye week for us, kind of. So a good chance for me to kind of take a deep look at kind of where we need to focus on. But I think the message that we're going to have is just get back to the fundamentals and the identity that we had in the non-con part of the season and how we started our season off, and kind of have a little reboot and take the losses as just a shock to the system of we need to get better.
And what kind of challenges does Tennessee present?
I think similar to us. I think they have. I think there's three opposites in this conference that are really, really, elite. So we got one of them in our gym, and I think Morgan Fingal on their team is a really, really good volleyball player. I think he's a grad senior, if I remember correctly, so experienced. And then just they have offensive weapons everywhere. Where they have balance. And again, I've said this in here, and I'm sorry I come in here on Mondays and do this, but a lot of my Mondays are dealt with how do we get better, and then my Wednesdays and Thursdays are dealt with Tennessee. So this is just a little bit that I've seen when they've been playing people that we've played so far. But they have balance, and then I think similar to us, I think both teams, and I'm not sure what the rankings are after this weekend, but are in the top three in terms of offensive efficiency and the top three in terms of defensive efficiency, so able to hold your opponents. So I think they have balance just in terms of offense. They have lots of threats, but then they have balance in the way that they play volleyball. They're a good serving team. They block and defend really well. So it'll be a battle.
We'll stay back on TV row to the right side to Ben.
Hey, Coach, I know it's maybe a little counterintuitive, but I know on the road you guys have been through some crazy
right?
deals going on, some logistical challenges, but y'all have played pretty well.
Yeah.
At home, is there maybe something y'all are addressing with the team of, be comfortable but not too comfortable in terms of how they get to the game and ready?
You're the 13th person to tell me that in the last 2 days. For me, I think there's some more structure that comes with being on the road. Like, I understand why football, for example, stays in a hotel, and then they take a bus, and then they come in and they practice, and it creates the separation in the day a little bit. We actually tried to do that a little bit on Friday, like to address this a little bit. We had our serve pass in the morning, and then it was like, hey, go to school, do your thing, and then come back for match time. So a little bit for me too, like it's the world that I'm used to. When I was coaching international volleyball, of like there wasn't a home game. Like you would take a bus to the gym, you'd have a serve pass, you'd come back, you'd watch video, and the day was a little bit more structured. Where, and again, I've said in this room, balancing being a student and an athlete is difficult. And when you're at home, you're balancing that a little bit more. There's less separation because we expect them to go to class. So we played around with it a little bit on Friday, and again, the Friday match was bizarre to me just because I thought we started really well. I thought we were in control of that match for the first set and a half, and then all of a sudden, again, I don't know if it was energy systems, I don't know what it was. We've been talking through it a little bit, but the balloon deflated. So it's one of the things we're talking about is how do we create a road-like structure when we're at home.
We'll stay one more on TV row on the left side to Donna.
Coach, how much do you feel like the last 2-game skid is kind of just, the season being a long one and a grind and just maybe facing a little bit of fatigue? And how do you work the team out of that?
Yeah. Like I said, you guys should coach. I want to go back to one other thing, too, just being at home. And I can't gloss over the fact that we had over 3,000 people at our match on Friday. And it was an amazing atmosphere. And again, I don't want people to feel like I don't know, we play worse when people are there. Like, our players truly enjoy it. I've talked to multiple athletes on our team, I think, from a recruiting standpoint. It's helping us that we're in a place that people care, and I can't express enough gratitude to the people that are showing up and being vocal. We appreciate it. And going to your question, another thing that we talked about, and I think Lindsay put it best, that there's 3 chapters to a season. There's your non-con, there's your conference play, and then there's a postseason. And the goal of this program is to go as long as in the 3rd chapter as humanly possible. And we have to start looking at this phase right now as the thing that preps us, that gets us to the most important one, is how far we get in the championship part of this season. And I didn't come here to, I don't know, necessarily finish middle of the pack in the SEC. I didn't come here to necessarily win an SEC championship every single year, because I think this conference is really, really good. I've said that over and over again, and I think it's going to continue to improve. But I did come here to take this program as far as it can into the postseason as humanly possible, year in and year out. And that doesn't necessarily mean winning a national championship, because one team gets to do it. But we're here to take this team as far as possible. We're here to produce amazing human beings that go off into the world and do amazing things. And we're here to enjoy the process. So we got to make sure that this is the part where those things happen, where we're creating amazing human beings, but at the same time, we're preparing ourselves to go as far as we can into the championship. So I think that will come with time. Going to your question, I'm not using this as an excuse, but every time I'm like, man, like, we need to learn. I'm like, we're a bunch of 18 and 19-year-olds with a couple 22-year-olds on it. So it'll come. There's no doubt in my mind. I promise you that.
We'll go front row on the right side to Travis.
I thought you said one more. I'm just kidding.
No,
Travis,
one more on
you
TV
go.
row.
Oh, got it.
I think you open social media anytime and you see that another school, even in Texas, is breaking a women's sports record with volleyball. What is it about volleyball right now that's having a moment? Was it simply the Nebraska game, or is there something else going on that you think is putting it up in the forefront?
Yeah, I think it's been coming. I think if you look at the growth of volleyball, it's the fastest growing sport in the country. You look at high school participation, like, it's blowing up, men's and women's, like boys and girls, like, it's blowing up right now. So I think the participation numbers are starting to increase more and more and more. So you're getting a little bit more of an audience from that. I think there's a growth in attention to women's sports. I think it's been given a platform. I think it's like, I don't know, our match was put on ESPN, had 280,000 people watching. Like, I know there's been some, I don't know, ratings records that have been broken too. So, like, it's been given the platform. And then I made a social media post. I do think the Nebraska match had something to do with it. I think I equated it to Roger Bannister running a 4-minute mile. Of people saw what was possible. Of that, I don't know, it made national news, and it was like, man, like 90-something thousand people wanted to watch volleyball at Nebraska. Maybe I should tune in and watch, or go to my school and watch. And I wrote their coaches afterwards, and I think in women's volleyball, there's a little bit of kind of, I don't know, we don't want to cheer other people on, but I just wrote them and said thank you. Just because it showed the world what was possible, and it brought attention to our sport. My actually old boss from the Netherlands is coming out to watch one of our matches and go on an NFL tour through Texas. But he was saying it made national news there, not sports news, but national news, as in, like, they turned on the CBS nightly news, and that was one of the top 3 stories, was that 92,000 people showed up to a collegiate volleyball match in the United States. And I think it's opened the door and opened people's eyes to what our sport can be. And I think you're seeing it across the country. And it's really awesome. Again, like, I hope it comes across how much I love our sport. As much as I love Texas A&M Aggie volleyball, I'm going to be a proponent of our sport in general. But I think it's awesome to see it happening across the country. I think it's awesome to see it happening here.
Anything else? All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.